G'day and welcome back for more Space Engineers Survival. And I am down at the mine, getting... how soon? Oh, quite soon. Being under attack by the stinging adversary, but it seems like the sandbags are going to hold. As long as something doesn't go very weird with that, we should be safe to continue our mining until the goose is completely full. And what am I doing going into the mine? I wanted to... not that. I wanted to grab that. Turn on our ore detector. I think the nickel is up here. Oop, a bit too fast. The nickel's under here. So I could, since the ugly duckling has gone through here, try and fit down here or make another enormous hole in the ground. But I think oops, that's tight. I think one enormous hole in the ground is enough. So what I'm going to do instead is actually go in through our mine entrance here so that I don't have to mark yet another spot, and so that there's not another giant pothole for the goose to have to avoid or any other vehicles. Realistically, it's more likely to be the tick that has to avoid it. And I'm going to tunnel through here, because I think this is the roughly right direction. I'm going to tunnel through here until I get to the nickel. And then we'll come back out this tunnel. And because we're going both ways through this tunnel, I want to make it really, really, really wide so that I don't run into anything going either way, as I really, really don't want to do any bad damage to the butterball, and I can see some damage to the butterball already. I don't know if I did that now or if that was already there. I wasn't paying attention, but there is a bit of a dent in the back here. So let's fix that up. Alright, that looks to be fixed. Good. That way if it happens again, I know I've done it. And then it wasn't just something that I accumulated from who knows what. Oh, gunfire. Lots of gunfire. That must have been that last drone that came by. Hopefully the perspective I'm recording from Reginald will make it a bit interesting rather than you just having to watch me mine. I've actually got a spectator cam up where one of the sandbags is, that will hopefully see any of the drones as they come in. It's one of the forward sandbags, so it's a bit of a skewed angle so that we can see everything properly. What was I talking about? Making a giant hole. Because of my terrible driving. That's right. I wonder how many more attacks we'll have while we're under here. Hopefully we don't line up our return to base when there's an attack due. Fingers crossed we'll also be able to get this mining done before the night falls, because I would rather not drive home in the night. Even though we've got those new headlights on the trailer, I still think that the visibility is just so much less. You can't really plan your route so easily that it is just... it's not as safe. And I can see the nickel. So... now I've got to aim this massive tunnel towards that. And hopefully be able to get us into a position where we can mine it fairly easily. And I really am smacking that side of the ship up today. Whenever I mine, I do tend to create a nice big clearance around whatever I can. Particularly around entrances and anywhere I've got to travel. The main reason for that for me is that when I've loaded up the ship, maneuverability is so much less that you want to give yourself the easiest pathway possible. And also it's nice to be able to have the third-person camera be able to move around rather than being stuck in one orientation because there's rock in the way blocking it from going in a different direction. We've run into the cobalt, so I'll try and go up this way. And that looks like it was a tunnel from when we were hand mining this. And getting close to the nickel, I think. Even though it says 40 meters, I don't think its edge is that far away. And now I can see some dirt in the ceiling. That means I'm getting close to the surface. I don't really want to pop out of the surface, so I'll try not to get too far up that way. As the whole plan here was to avoid more potholes, not make new ones. Drilling out all this space for a mine does make me think that it would probably be quite sensible and certainly efficient to set up your first base directly in an iron mine. You could build underground that way, and any drilling you do, you have a decent chance of getting resources. You don't have to transport your resources back to your base because you're digging in your base. It'd be so much more efficient. Alright, now I'm going to try and clear a little bit of ceiling space, some headroom around here, because I've hit the nickel. So that will make it easier for me to control the butterball. And this is what I was talking about with the camera. I'm forced into first person because the ceiling's right here. And the thing that makes me anxious in first person with mining is not that I have a high chance of running into something forwards that I haven't expected to. It's more that I'll accidentally smack a side of the ship or the rear of the ship into something. Okay. It's a little bit of extra clearance. Now we should be good to mine the nickel. I probably should have checked before coming down here how many of the other minerals I had. I think I've got enough of most things. Probably need a little bit more magnesium now that I'm using up ammunition. But otherwise, I think I'm reasonably okay. What I think I'll do this trip is get maybe 2 loads of nickel, as I need the nickel for solar panels, for motors, for grids, a whole bunch of things. And the rest of the load I'll fill up with iron, as I am still going through huge piles of iron. So we still need to make sure we get plenty of that. And then I'll make another trip again soon, where I'll grab some silicon particularly, again for more solar panels, because I do plan on adding a second solar tower soon. And the other thing I want to probably collect is that magnesium. And hopefully before that trip I'll remember to check what other things I might want to grab while I'm out. See if we actually need anything else right now for what we've got planned in terms of our components for our builds. For any of you guys who've watched my recent elevator tutorial, you might have noticed that I probably came up with a better design for that than I've currently got in my base. And that means that I'm going to need to do an upgrade to the elevator here, because I would like to have that tiny little gap that's achieved with the piston sideways for our elevators here, as well as adding the ding sound to arriving at the floor. So that is something that is on the cards soon, but it's going to be a fairly big project because it will require complete dismantling of the existing elevator. Let's see how quickly those sorters empty this out. So if we go large, that's going to be where it gets chucked, and then the rest of this will be down here. It's not too bad actually. It empties out a medium container pretty quickly. I mean, I can still do it quicker and a script would still probably be faster, but it's made a big difference versus what it was before with the single. Quite happy with that. One of the reasons I wanted the sorters was that I found in the past having scripts lose power, be reconnected, and particularly the way that the trailer hitch works where the goose takes over the name of the vessel, because the goose is the tractor part of the tractor trailer combo. It actually has the name on it, and it has the dominant end of the rotor. So I suspect any script I were to whoops, that's the ceiling. Any script I were to use to organize things in the trailer is, particularly when I start switching trailers for missile trailers and things like that, I'm going to find that it's going to be somewhat inconsistent, and the sorters will work always. So while I may eventually come up with a way around that in terms of having some power on the trailer, at least the sorters will work until then, until I can figure out a way around that, or until I find out that it actually doesn't seem to matter. It just has mattered for me in the past, so I figured I'd go with the sorters because I knew it'd work, and I don't mind a little bit of manual labor every now and then. Having to do the transfer myself. It really doesn't take a huge amount of effort. There are a couple of things I thought I'd let you guys in on that I've been working on lately, and one of them is the improvement to the script for extending the range of the enemy base antennas. And when I say I've been working on that, really, I've been talking with Rich27 and he's been doing all the work. Since he's pretty much rewritten he has rewritten the script and added some extra functions, which are awesome. And that one I am going to get out to you guys soon, particularly after earlier today working with Meridius 9 and getting the script functioning on a base that can be directly imported into his planetary installations mod, so it can be placed procedurally around your planet. And that was what I was really hoping to do with this, have bases that would spawn and then send stuff after you, but in sort of waves. So the way the antenna works is that it will gradually increase its range and then reset to a small range. So it'll hit you for a while and then it'll give you a break, and then it'll hit you for a while and then it'll give you a break. And I think it works out quite nicely. But I'll go through that in full detail in another video when I show you how to set up the script and how to take that script and a base you've put it on and incorporate it into the planetary installations mod, so you can have your own enemy bases added to the game, or just wait till some other people use it on theirs. Alright, that is 2 loads of nickel. Let's go grab a whole bunch of iron. And where is the sun? This is going to be tight. I reckon we might be in shadow, but hopefully we'll still be getting sunlight when we are heading back. I think the valley will be in shadow, but the plateau will still be in light is what I mean. So we should have enough light to see by. It won't be completely pitch dark. So I would prefer to drive back in somewhat daylight. I think we'll manage it. The other thing I've been working on, continuing on from that little rant before. Oh, stinging adversary incoming. The other thing I've been working on has been the turntable design for the Goose. And I think I've come up with something incredibly simple and easy to set up. And it will take advantage of that transmitter-receiver script so that we can control the rotor that the Goose is set on from within the Goose. And all I've got to do is use that giant monstrosity that's on the hill outside the base and redesign it so that we can project it and then drill out the huge hole for the turntable and then the huge hole that's needed for the roundhouse style storage area for the trailers for the Goose. And once we've got all that in place, then we are ready to go on designing our first missile launch trailer, which should be fun because that means we get close, ever so close, to launching something against the enemy base. But just to keep things interesting, rather than, me taking out the one base that's actually attacking me, I'm going to add that antenna expansion script to every single base on this planet. So eventually I may get attacked from every single direction. Which is both terrifying and exciting. Oh, gunfire again. Gunfire again. Oh, the beacon's gone, so it must be down. Success. Good job, sandbags. Good job. Gunfire though. Don't waste all your ammunition on the dead things. Oh geez, there's another one coming in already. That didn't take long. Hi. They just keep on coming. We'll just keep breaking them like waves on a rock? Yeah, waves on a rock, that'll work. Oh, something I was meaning to mention, which I think I've mentioned before, but maybe that was just in the comments and I'm mixing myself up. But a lot of people thought when I was last mining and I actually showed it, that these giant rocks falling that look like iron was me ejecting iron from the butterball. It's not, don't worry. They're just graphical particles. They're nothing of value. They actually just go and fade away to nothingness after, you know, just enough time to be annoying when you're trying to build when they're in the way. Okay, full. Probably one more load is all I'll do. Maybe two, we'll see. What's the time? How much time have we got? Ah, stop resetting my camera. Let me look up. Oh yeah, probably just one more load. I'd rather have a slightly inefficient run and not take absolutely everything I can and still be able to drive back during the day. So we'll get this load and then we'll pack up. Or maybe we'll wait for that fleeting rival to get destroyed because it might be a bit close. We'll see. It's 5k's out at the moment. If it's closer than about 3k's, I think it might make me a bit anxious. Oh, it's 3k's. We might be doing another little mining trip to fill up the butterball while we wait for that fleeting rival to get destroyed. I think it's a little bit scary even though it's getting dark. It's a little bit scary because it might catch up to us and I'd really rather not take on a drone while we're on the road. That just seems like a terrible idea. On my desk, I can actually see what Reginald is seeing with the other perspective. And right now, I am seeing a tiny speck, which is that fleeting rival. And in the left of screen, I'm seeing the turret. And it's kind of awesome to watch that while I'm drilling this out of the ground. It's kind of cool having a second perspective. I like it. It's almost like having a security cam view of what the turret sees. I think the angle's just a bit too low that by the time the ship gets in range though, I can't actually see it on the screen. It's a pity. Alright, time to get out of here. Got a full load. We are ready to go. Hopefully they're just shooting at stuff that's on the ground because I can't see the red tag anymore. There is another fleeting rival coming in, but it's 9k's out, so I should have plenty of time to get back to base before it gets anywhere near me. So this time I'm not going to line up sideways, I'm going to park properly on the trailer. Because I use the thrusters on the butterball, I do like to line this up pretty well when we come into land for the final drive home. And turn. There we go. Alright. Let's get out of here. Now we need to turn the rotors off. We need to turn the lights on. Turn the other lights on. And turn our headlight on. And there we go. Let's get moving. I think from last time we can drive down the other side around these trees rather than having to turn around. So that is what I'm going to do. Oh, come on. Come on. I know it's steep, but you can do it. There we go. Okay. It's not terribly dark, but it is pretty dark right now. Let's put the braking thrusters on. Oh, as on the topic of braking thrusters, I have been sent a link to what seems to be a very handy script, which is one that, as I put the brakes on the Goose, will actually activate the brakes on the trailer wheels as well. So I shouldn't need to use the braking thrusters as often, which is really cool. Gonna need a bit of boost to get up this little slope. And while I'm at it, let's override the Butterball's thrusters so we can activate. They're ready to be activated when we get close to the way home marker, to that steep bit of the slope. And booster thrusters off again. Those headlights actually line up pretty well, considering I didn't even measure them. That gives a pretty reasonable spread when we're driving straight ahead. Much better than a single headlight. Much, much, much better. Alright, boosters back on. In the correct valley, I think. Yep. Let's go. Let's put the butterballs on. Get a bit extra kick before we go up that steep bit. Here we go. Should make it easily this time. I've given myself a good run up. Swing to the left, then round to the right. Oh, bumpy. That's never helpful. Turn the butterball thrusters off. Turn the thrust override off. And keep the boosters going until we take another nice wide left-hand swing. Then head around the monstrosity. Like so. And we are home. Easy. Ha. Feel like I'm getting old hand at that. But now we face the next problem. And the next problem is I don't have a way to connect this to the base. Which is not ideal. But I think if I'm remembering what is around here correctly, I think I have a way to connect it quite easily. And if we line this up right against the wall... Oh, that's a lot of sparks coming from the hitch. Don't normally see that. Park it about there. We can then start setting this up. So, what we have right here, and I conveniently jumped out facing it straight away, is a conveyor port. So we're going to use that to set up the piston that's going to have the connector on the end to connect up to the goose. And that'll be temporary and very easy to remove later. So, I need a couple of things before I go and try and build this. I need some of those, and I've got plenty of the others. Cool. So, conveyor, tube, 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 then... Actually, let's do a corner there. The reason I've put the goose right up against the wall is that I wanted to have a rough idea of where I need to bring this out to. So, we then get a piston in here, number 7, piston on there, and then we can do these curves so that they line up roughly with where the goose is. That's going to be about right. Yeah. Yeah, I should be able to lock under that. Come out, come out. Yeah. And I'll park it off to the side a bit. So we go down, and then we want to go down again, because I want this to be lower than the height of the goose's connector so that the piston has to be pushed up a bit. Because if I don't do that, the connector is actually going to be too high at this height. There's just enough of a gap, I think, from what I remember, that if I leave it at this height, it won't be able to lock, even with the suspension fully extended. So we do it this way. And I will quickly weld all of this up, and then we'll be good to hook up the goose, take the butterball off and pop it on its pedestal, and start thinking about the next thing, which is fixing the thing that keeps happening to the tick with it going all clangy. I really want to fix that. I'm really not happy with how that is. It's not good. Not good at all. And done. There we go. Still looks wonky, just like the other one, but it should be okay. So I want to go up probably Maximum height I think it can go up would be just over 2.5 meters. So let's grab this and set our maximum well, that's the minimum. Maximum distance to 2.8. Let's try that. Reverse. See where this ends up. Have I just pushed it straight into that? I might have. Oh no. Looks like it stopped perfectly. Yeah. Nice. Alright, so that's high enough. Let's go park the goose under it properly. So I'm going to need to reverse up and get over that side. Ah! Let me rotate sometimes. So let's get the goose over there properly. Alright, I think I should have this able to be lined up now, yeah. That looks pretty good. This is going to completely block off the pathway to the welders. More gunfire while we are parked on it, but hopefully it won't be there for very long now that I've worked out how to do the turntable for it. Alright, I think that's pretty good. Yeah, it's reasonably well lined up. So, if we look here, that's going to be maybe a meter? Try a meter down. So that makes our minimum distance 1.8. Oh, look at that. Spot on. And let's lock. Then everything is getting into the base. Yeah. Refinery's working again. Let's get you moving. Alright, park you where you belong so you can get charged for our next mining trip. Oh, low on power. Because we are not full and we only have a few minutes left. Park. There we go. Very happy. Very happy. So that should be enough nickel and iron for quite some time. Now, the tick. The clanging sound that happens when the buttercup connects and disconnects from the base. We got to fix that up. And I'm not entirely sure how we're going to do that. It's been suggested to me that I try something, so we'll give it a go. What I was suggested to try is something that will be easier to do disconnected from the connector. Let's go into our programmable block, and this is our tick PB vector thrust. Go in here and change these percent commands, these commands to something specific to the tick. The thought being that when the buttercup is disconnecting from the base, it's actually sending these same commands to the tick. So let's try that. The only command that gets sent through when the buttercup disconnects is the standby, so let's change the standby over. Check code, okay, remember an exit. Let's turn it on, run. Okay. So let's reverse up and we'll reconnect to the base. We'll do this gently so I don't blow it up this time. Reconnect. Let's go see if we get the clanging. Over with the buttercup. Let's drop the buttercup way down because I may end up doing something that ends up with it on the floor. So that means if I hop in and I go to piston, I named it. So we want its minimum distance to be 2.2. Is that low enough? I can still go further. Let's make it 1.6. Yep, that's good. Perfect. That's low enough. Now if I drop off because the thing hasn't actually activated when I disconnect, it'll be fine because I won't fall very far. I hear clanging and it's not coming from the buttercup. Is it the tick? Oh, yep. The tick is clanging. oddly, I think this will fix it. Yep. There we go. Fixed. Right. Well, if that's happening, that means it's probably not a command related thing, because I did just change the command, so that should have fixed it if it was a command getting passed through. What I'm suspicious might be happening, since that didn't work, is when the buttercup is connected here, vector thrust is actually controlling both both the nacelles on that one and the nacelles on the tick. And it's controlling the ones on the tick because nothing else is. Right now, my vector thrust script on the tick is off. So if we disconnect, and instead of having vector thrust off, let's see what have we got here. That's the transmitter. Let's clear these out because I cannot remember for the life of me how they're set up. And we'll put two commands on there. The two commands I want to put on there are run %jetpack, which is allowing you to control the thing directly, and dampeners. Confirm. Okay. Then we want to also need to run it because I haven't taken it out of standby. Okay. Oh, no, wrong command. This is special command because this is the tick one now. Run %tick standby. Alright, so if we look from the cockpit, it's on. Thrusters are now true, so I can go up. If I want to land, I can just press 1, 2, and we'll land. And now as I drive forward and back, yeah, the nacelles will move, but they don't actually provide any thrust or any force. And now, with this as my off state, I can park. And I think because this grid's vector thrust is controlling these nacelles, even if they get sent a signal from the buttercup, it should still be okay because the script controlling the tick's nacelles will take over control instantaneously again. So it'll settle them to where they should be. So let's test that out and hope I'm right. Because it'd be really nice to have this fixed so that it didn't keep happening. Alright, disconnect. There's no clang. Silence. Yes! Look at that! It did work! Splitsie actually figured out something with a script. Does this mean the world's going to end? Well, I'm very happy by that. Very, very happy. Because I didn't want to have to somehow wrangle these two to never be attached to the base at the same time. Because that was not going to be good. Why is this... There we go. Just wondering why that wasn't going yellow. Cool. Happy. Happy, 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 happy. Now, I will need to set up some timers and things for that connection soon, but something else that was suggested to me that I think I will do right now. Because we've just improved the tick, let's add a couple of timers. I'm going to be pretty bad at remembering which of these three is the thing I need to press to activate and deactivate thrusters and dampeners on the script. So I'm going to put both of those commands on a timer. And that means lifting up the tick so we can get underneath. I'm also going to add to a timer a kind of power off state for the tick so that its antenna and its lights and everything else like that gets switched off when we lock to the base. So, one timer, two timer. Alright, let's drop her down again. Disconnect from the base. And park. Alright, so what we need to do. First off, lights right now is just the spotlights. Let's delete that group. We don't actually have any surrounding lights on the tick anymore, and I think we should fix that. So, let's grab a interior light and put that... How the heck did that not be built? One interior light there, and another one over here. So that we can see a bit better again if we end up driving at night time. So it wasn't too horrible last time, but it still isn't ideal to have no light. Those two will probably just be enough, I think. So, back to what I was doing. Let's delete the wheels group as well. Because what I want to do is have these not shown in terminal, because I don't need to see them. And interior light, spotlight. These will be tick lights. Save. And the interior lights will have a radius that's huge and intensity that is much less. About 1.5 is where I want it. And show blocking terminal off. Spotlight, show blocking terminal off. Next up, we got our wheels. These will be tick, wheels, save. I would have had to delete the group anyway, that's why I deleted it first. And these don't need to be shown in terminal either. And our terminal is a lot tidier. Okay. Next up, time block. This will be tick. And I'm going to just name these TB. Tick, time block. This will be parking. That does not need to be capitalized that way. And this will be tick, TB. And this will be, what's this one? Vector thrust. So, setup actions for the vector thrust one. This will do run percent jetpack, run percent dampeners, confirm, and there we go. Now we can set up the parking one, and its actions will be toggling the antenna on and off, toggling the Gatling turret on and off, toggling the lights on and off, and anything else I want to turn on and off? Yeah, I want the battery set to recharge. And what else? That'll probably do for now. I could set the thrusters all, but they should be controlled by vector thrust, so that's okay. And I don't think anything else uses up much power, so those are the main ones. Alright, now to set up our G menu properly. First up, let's turn on everything that should be on. So that'll be our lights are on. Battery's off the right way. Our Gatling turret should be on. I think that's everything. Oh, forgot one thing with the parking. Setup actions. Switch lock. Because I want it to do everything. This is something someone told me to do, and I think it is very sensible. So let's remove all of these from the... Oh, actually, I do want that to be individually controllable. That doesn't need to be. That is the transmitter, which we will move to another spot. Remove, remove, remove. Okay, so first up, parking. Let's put it on. Trigger now. Spot 1 is for parking. Spot 2 can be for the Gatling turret that needs to be able to turn on and off. Oops, it's already in there. Let's remove it and move it down to that slot. And we'll also put control so that we can take control of the Gatling turret while we're driving around. Next up, let's put our vector thrust with trigger now. And that should actually be everything we need. So if we want to turn on vector thrust, we just hit 4 and then we should be able to fly. But for some reason we are not. What is going on? Hello? Oh, what's going on? It says thrusters true, dampeners true. It's not on standby. What is going on? on, and you guys probably can't see that at all, so I can barely see it. Let's make it easier. There we go. 2. We'll do the same with the debug. Make these visible too. Active nacelles 2. Dampeners true. Alright, let's try... Oh no! It's doing that thing that it did when I was playing around with this for the upload to the... Oh, rats. So, I've recently uploaded the tick to the workshop, and I played around with it a bit in creative to fix up the little bits and make the hotbar a little bit neater, although I think this one's even neater. And unfortunately, what happened was that the nacelles would stop working. As you can see, they are facing exactly opposite directions. And the only thing I could figure out to do to fix that was to rebuild them entirely. And I guess I'll do that now. I'm hoping that someone will tell me that there was an easier fix in the comments later. If you've got an easier fix, please tell me, because that'd be really nice. But for now, I will jump ahead to when I have re-welded these on. And it wasn't just the nacelle that had to be redone, I had to redo the rotor. Recompile. Run. Ah, now you're working. Okay, good. Did work again for some reason that I don't understand why getting rid of the whole nacelle and rotor fixes it, but it does. So we did it. Now I have to rebuild these armor bits, which is quite fiddly. Alright, nacelle's fixed. Able to fly again. And time to park and test out our parking control. Everything seems to be on at the moment. Oh, pressed the wrong button then. And park. Look at that. Perfect. Last thing I want to do for the tick right now is grind these down. And it was suggested to me to use something like the pipes here to connect between these two. But there's a problem with that. And that is that they don't really line up with any part of the model of the light. I suppose I could do them that way. Let's see how that looks. That might actually work. Might actually work alright. I was thinking they didn't really line up with any of the model, but if we place them at the back here, like this. 1, 2, 3. It'll look more like cabling going to the light than anything else. And I think that actually works. That works pretty well. I'd been thinking I couldn't use them because of the rounded corners on the spotlight, but going that way works nicely. And the other thing is, I want this to be more intense. I want it to be more dramatic. Let's put it up to 3. Turn off my lights. Yeah, much sharper. I like the contrast. Cool. If I'm going to have a spotlight, I may as well use it properly. So the tick appears to be fixed. Let's just make sure one more thing. One more time. Let's disconnect you. Let's go over to the tick. Make sure it's still fine. Still fine. Let's reconnect you. Let's go back over to the tick and make sure I can still fly when I disconnect from the base. Because if that's broken again, that's going to be really, really annoying. Disconnect. Drive forward. Oh. It's broken. Totally broken. Oh no, dampeners is false. Why is dampeners false? Dampeners is not meant to be false. Oh, how are they... Grr. Alright. Run. Percent dampeners. Run. Percent jetpack. I reckon there might be something wrong with the way I have set up the buttercup. That somehow it is resetting these functions. But I think that's about as good as I'm going to get the tick right now. So, the tick is on the workshop. I'm going to show you the easiest way to update what's on the workshop, and we're going to cheat. We're going to go Alt F10, going to go creative mode, Control C, get rid of the copy, and now tick. tick dirt buddy. Oh, wait a second. Don't want to do that. Because this is not named. The tick dirt buggy extraordinaire. Oops. Okay. Now it's named correctly. Now I can do the copy paste. Copy. F10 tick. Replace with clipboard. Yes. Then we go details. Then we go publish. Yes. Okay. And now the version on the workshop will be the latest version from survival. Hopefully. If this uploads correctly. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, nice. I'll have to edit this bit at some point where I've said what's on the hotbars, but we have our tick. Excellent. Cool. Next time around, we are going to design and hopefully start building our turntable for the goose so that we can start extending down further into the mountain. I think what I'm going to do is build one blank section and then build the part for the goose just to give us a bit more freedom for expansion later. And at some point, we are going to upgrade the elevator so that it's got the new design from my tutorial. Not sure when that's going to happen, but it's going to happen. So there's that, and plenty more to come. So I'll see you then.